Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
What we're trying to do is increase capacity for the Florida shelters.
Right now at 10, helping displaced dogs as Florida recovers from Hurricane Ian's destruction. See how Connecticut's Humane Society is helping out.
Also, we are on verdict watch. Jurors are deciding how much conspiracy theorist Alex Jones will owe families of Sandy Hook victims. What day 3 of jury deliberations brought, and a look ahead to tomorrow.
No more roaches, no more rats. We want you to work for us.
And we're hearing tonight from residents in one Hartford apartment building concerned about what they call dangerous living conditions. But we start things off with breaking news at 10 o'clock. A man is in the hospital with possible life-threatening injuries after a serious stabbing. Good evening, I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Still a very active scene, we're told, unfolding tonight in Bolton. We just got new information a short time ago from the Bolton First Selectman. Investigators on the scene off of Boston Turnpike for several hours. State police say that the man was taken by ambulance to Manchester Hospital. Troopers also tell us that this is an isolated incident and there is no threat to the public at this point. We have learned from the Bolton First Selectman that someone is in custody as a result of this stabbing. We don't have a lot more information or confirmation from state police on that. The investigation, though, is ongoing. We'll be sure to bring you any new details as they become available to us. And new at 10, Connecticut is helping more than 20 dogs from Florida who are looking for new homes after Hurricane Ian.
The dogs will fly in tomorrow. The Connecticut Humane Society tasked with helping them find new families. Fox 61's Tony Black tells us how the Humane Society is getting ready to welcome these pups in need.
And I think the impact is we feel like we're part of one big group that's really helping out, and that you're not alone.
These empty kennels at the Connecticut Humane Society will soon be filled with loud barks and wagging tails.
We use this to triage when we have large groups of animals that come in.
James Bias is the executive director. He says the organization will take in 22 dogs from Florida Wednesday to aid the ongoing relief efforts following Hurricane Ian. The animals relocating cross-country were in shelters before the storm hit. This will free up room for pets displaced from their owners during the storm.
We want to try to keep those animals that are being rescued as close to where their owners would be.
More than 100 dogs will make the trip north to be taken in by shelters across the Northeast. Bias says it can be traumatic for pets to lose their familiar surroundings, but it won't take them long to adjust to a new home.
The good news, I think, with pets is they can recover quicker.
They don't know what kinds of dogs will touch down at Brainerd Airport Wednesday. Bias says they anticipate more medium to large-sized dogs because smaller dogs are easier to shelter closer to Florida.
All of their tails are going to wag the same regardless of what breed type.
Many dogs were relocated to sites closer to Florida after Hurricane Ian. As those filled, it was time to take the pooches farther.
There might be others that are in foster homes and are a medical setting for months, just depending on what their needs are.
Bias says the animals have been through a lot and could use a great home in Connecticut to start over. Even though Connecticut is a small state, he says it has a big footprint nationally for stepping up after events. Now there's an opportunity for Connecticut to make that footprint, or in this case, paw print, even bigger.
But adopting any pet that we have creates an opening and an opportunity for these animals coming into our sheltering systems.
The executive director says some of the dogs may be ready for adoption as soon as this weekend. They'll be spread out across their locations here in Newington, in Waterford, and in Westport. We'll have how you can adopt one at fox61.com. In Newington, Tony Black, Fox 61 News.
We'll look forward to that tomorrow. Tony, thank you. Let's turn to our weather watch tonight. A pretty mild evening out there after a day filled with sunshine. It was nice.
And another gorgeous bright moon out there if you look out your window right now. Meteorologist Ryan Breton joins us with a first look of the forecast. Ryan.
Hey, Jen and Ben. Yeah, the almost full Hunter's moon. It was full on Sunday night, but with a nice clear sky. It's a moonlit night here in southern New England. We're already watching our next storm system, though. We have one piece here and then another front that's up through Minneapolis and the Dakotas. All of that's going to be coming our way for Thursday night. But before it gets here, another nice day coming up tomorrow. Heavy rain, some gusty winds coming through Thursday night, but we'll get it out of here for the weekend. That's looking pretty good. For tonight, temperatures dropping down into the 40s by morning. The shoreline will stay above 50, though, so a much milder night than some of the other ones we've had recently. A clear, calm start tomorrow morning with plenty of sunshine in the morning. In the afternoon, there will be some clouds coming in, so a mix of sunshine and clouds for the afternoon. Those clouds out ahead of that next system, which moves in for Thursday. But it's a mild day tomorrow. High temperature Temperatures up into the low 70s and will remain dry into tomorrow evening as well. We are on the weather watch, though, for Thursday night. That's because we'll have a band of some heavy rain moving in from the west. Here it is at noon on Thursday. That moves in for us Thursday night. We'll take a closer look at the timeline and how much rain may fall coming up in just a little while.
Ryan, thank you. We're following some developing news out of Hartford tonight, where 2 people are in custody this evening after a homicide on Park Street. 38-year-old Antonio Tosada Lopez was found unresponsive after police say he was assaulted earlier this morning and later died. This is now the 31st homicide in the city of Hartford this season, 2 more at this point than last year.
Things are getting out of hand. I mean, like, why is this being allowed to happen?
I'm feeling really sad because I'm a grandma, I'm a mother, so I know what the mom or that family is going through now, the pain that they lose a family member.
This was also the 3rd homicide in Hartford in the last week, with the other 2 incidents being deadly shootings. In other news, a man is dead after a stabbing in New Haven last night. It happened around 9:30 p.m. on Whaley Avenue. Police say the 29-year-old man was sent to the hospital where he later died. No word tonight if anyone has been arrested in connection to the case. Well, a new CDC report shows nationwide homicides involving guns are on the rise. There's an 8% increase from 2020 to last year. The percentage of homicides attributed to firearm injuries rose from 79% in 2020 to 81% in 2021. For context, that's the highest percentage in more than 50 years. Jury deliberations continuing for the 2nd full day today in the trial of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
The jurors have not yet reached a decision on how much the InfoWars host will have to pay Sandy Hook families. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joining us in studio right now to tell us what the jury asked for today. Gabby.
Well, today the jury had a question about some of the language in their instructions, signaling that they were at least discussing the portion having to do with compensatory damages.
The jury in the Alex Jones Sandy Hook trial asked for some clarification Tuesday as they consider how much Jones will have to pay Sandy Hook families and an FBI agent in damages.
You must attempt to put each plaintiff in the same position as far as money can do it, that they would have been in had the defendant not engaged in the wrongful conduct, end quote. Can you please clarify the meaning of this?
The plaintiff's attorneys wanted to direct jurors to other parts of the charge.
The more specific portions of the charge with regard to emotional distress damages and defamation damages are specific to this case and so provide the most guidance for the jury.
Jones's attorney argued that their question showed that jurors were troubled by the portion having to do with compensatory damages.
I think it would be error to instruct the jury to place less weight on any particular part of the charge. If money can't do it, then money doesn't do it.
The judge eventually giving her answer to the jury.
Focusing on 1 or 2 sentences in isolation when considering a jury charge can often be unhelpful or confusing. Therefore, you should not single out particular words, phrases, or sentences, and you should consider the charge as a whole.
Before the end of the day, the jury had a note asking to view Bill Sherlack's testimony. He is the husband of Mary Sherlack, the school psychologist who was one of the first people to be killed confronting the gunman. With no verdict reached Tuesday, the jury will start their day Wednesday with that testimony.
We are going to queue that up and have that ready for you first thing in the morning.
The jury will continue deliberations at 9:45 tomorrow morning, and as we await a verdict, stay with Fox 61 for updates. In the studio, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Well, new at 10 tonight, people living in one apartment in Hartford are quite upset about the living conditions in their building. Several residents of the Millennium spoke to the city council tonight asking for help and accountability. They say the building has problems with rats and mold, poor security, and they accuse their landlord of not addressing the issues properly.
Like our security gates are held in by a piece of 1x3, which is pretty much just like a deck of cards. So people just go up it when they want to get their drugs that people sell in the building. They just break down the gate, they come in, and then it's like that for 3 days.
They don't care if we park in a condemned garage that falls on our cars. I've been out $500 for an insurance deductible because their garage fell on my car and they refused to reimburse me.
Residents of the Millennium have also teamed up with people concerned about living conditions in other buildings to form the Connecticut Tenants Union.
The suspect charged in the death of a 12-year-old boy in Bridgeport pleaded guilty in court. You may remember this. 12-year-old Clinton Howell was on his front porch just days before Christmas in 2019 when police say he was tragically shot and killed. He was not the intended target of that shooting, according to authorities. Jay Chambers was charged with manslaughter and possession of a pistol without a permit. His attorney tells Fox 61 he has pleaded guilty to those charges. He's going to be sentenced in December, just days before what would have been the 4th anniversary of that deadly shooting.
Well, an update tonight as 2 16-year-old boys are under arrest after they were accused of assaulting and robbing another teenager at his bus stop. Police say the suspect jumped out of a car and beat up the teen. They're also accused of stealing the victim's cell phone. Both 16-year-olds are now facing numerous charges tonight.